Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second ever Astrato Dash Off. You might recognize Stephanie here. Hey, Stephanie, welcome back.
Hey.
Why might people recognize you?
Well, I was part of the first dash off, and I'm told that I won. I guess so. Here I am again.
and you'll be competing with Emily. Hey, Emily.
Hi.
Hey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And are you excited to be competing with Stephanie, our first ever Dash Off winner?
Well, I'm definitely not excited because Stephanie is a force to be reckoned with. I definitely am excited to be here, but very nervous. So looking forward to this dash off.
Definitely. I mean, we've seen Stephanie's work. It's really good. But Emily, I have seen your work before, and they are very, very similar.
Emily has
And
gone viral, so don't sell yourself short.
that is true. Hey, we have someone watching. Hey, and everyone in the comments, let us know where you're watching from. And grab some snacks. You might get hungry. This is a dash off after all. Alrighty. Well, let's get into what the data set is, because as we all know, the data set is really important. We need to understand it in order to make a very compelling story. So, Emily, could you tell us a little bit about this data set, because you were the one who found it and you're the one who came up with this great idea to do this data?
Yeah, sure. So our data set today is going to be US influenza data. We have data at both a state and national level. So you'll see weekly data by year all the way back to 2010. And it goes all the way up to the present time. So we found this data from the CDC website. So it's up to date and hopefully the most accurate that we can provide. We're also looking at just influenza rates. So the ILI is influenza-like illness, so any illness that is of the influenza variant. We have age-related data, so bracketing age-related data at the national level, as well as some provider and patient information that help to build up these percentages that we see at a state level. So that's what we've got in our data set.
Okay, that's great. Finally, no more COVID data. We are moving on to the flu. It is flu season. Very relevant. We've got a shout out to Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. Alrighty. Well, shall we get started then? Audience members, are you ready?
Jane, are you going to tell us the ground rules?
Oh, yes, of course. Ground rules are you guys have 10 minutes to create a dashboard. This time, because we are focusing on the charts that you are creating, we let you have time. We let you beforehand create a layout of everything, so you guys don't have to spend time doing that. So the layout is all set. However, you do only get 10 minutes to create all of the charts within your dashboard and customize the colors, etc. Do whatever you want at the titles. All you guys have is the layout in the background with the blocks blocking out different color schemes. We gave you time for that, and we let you look at the data beforehand, so you guys know a little bit about what's going on. So already, are you guys ready to get started? You have 10 minutes on the clock. And just so everyone can see what you're starting out with, this is Emily's, this is her layout. She kind of has an idea of what she's going to put on there. And for Steph, she's got kind of the same thing. She's blocked off some things, but that's about it. So they are starting at kind of the same place. All right, 10 minutes on the clock. 3 more seconds. 3, 1, go. All right, dash off. Okay, we are staring at Emily's screen right now. She is starting with a bar and a line chart, and she's throwing in a filter very, very quickly. Let's switch to Stephanie's screen and see what she's doing. She's also starting with a line chart. Okay, they both have line charts. This is interesting. I wonder if Stephanie will put a bar chart in there. Is she getting hints from Emily right now, or did she already decide to put in a bar chart? We will see. All right, let's see what Stephanie's doing. We've got an area chart from Emily. Stephanie's doing a multi line chart. All right, but we saw that she was just in filters. She filtered this line chart. We can ask her questions later. And anyone in the comments with questions, let us know in the comments down below. You'll have time to do a Q&A, ask them how they did what you see on the screen. Let's go back to Emily. Oh, look at these colors. Knowing Emily, she colors things she's very careful with her colors. She makes sure that her colors tell a story. So let's see what she's doing here. She's created a custom palette, and what she's done is she's highlighted one of the lines in a darker blackish gray color, and everything else is this lighter gray. That is such a cool hack. Look at that. I never would have thought to do that. Going back to Stephanie, let's see what she's doing here. She's also put in a bar chart, but it is grouped. All right, and she is just changing the layout a little bit. They've both have done a line and a bar chart, but it's a bit different. So that is always interesting to see what you can do with the same chart. You see that Emily here, she's going in with filters. All right, and if anyone has questions about using chart filters, let us know down in the comments and we'd be happy to explain it. She's gotten rid of the legend. That is decisive. Someone's saying their anxiety is off the charts. What a great pun. Let's go back to Stephanie. She's put in a heat map. All right, okay. Heat maps are one of those charts where it's hard to find a use case for them, but when you do find a good use case, the heat map is kind of the only thing that would really work and would tell the best story. So I think Steph has found a really great use case. She's got the months on one side, and she's got years on the other. She's sorting by measure. No, she's not. She's changing around the sorting. Okay, she's just changing around the layout. Let's see what Emily is doing. Whoa, she's got an activity gauge in. And she's changing around the colors. Okay, we need to ask Emily how she did this because this looks really, really cool. Let's follow her as she makes another one of these. So she's copying the activity gauge and then she's changing out the filters. So she's changing the weeks. I wonder what this means. We can ask her later. And she's changing the angle of it. Oh, to make a little circle. Well, that is so unique. That is so cool. Let's just watch her do it one more time. Copy, changing the filters. Yep, there she goes. She's changing the weeks, but she's keeping everything else the same. And she is changing the angle and the colors. I wonder what this means. You will see. Oh, she's putting in what looks to be maybe an annotation. So that's something great about annotations that people always tend to forget is that annotations are they can be very, very useful. I know some people think that they clutter up the screen, but in fact, it can actually help decrease clutter. If you use an annotation to maybe substitute a legend, or you can use it to highlight different things instead of, adding in so much color. So annotations are a great thing to use if you can use it correctly. And Emily here, she's doing a great job with that. So this is fall. She's telling us that this is fall. So I'm assuming that each one of these gauges is a season. She's using a lot of copy and pasting to help speed up time. Very, very good. All right, back to Stephanie. So she's got in another bar chart here. Very, very cool. So you guys have you're about midway through. All right, she is now coloring all of the different charts. Let's see how she's doing that. So she's pasting in a color palette. changing it around a bit. All right, so she's gone in with this kind of more warm toned color palette. While Emily, you can see, is going in with a cooler color palette. She's adding in more of a description. And she's adding in her titles. All right, now let's go back to Steph. She's making a color gradient with her heat map. That is cool. So you can make a custom gradient. On here, you just choose the darkest and the lightest color, and then the gradient will create itself. So you can copy and paste. That's a cool hack in Astrato. You can just copy and paste in a color palette. You don't need to go in and change each one of the colors individually by hand. So that really helps speed up time. All right, okay, so she's adding some grid lines. Going in with some titles. All right, guys, you are down to about 2 minutes. Copying, pasting in some titles. Let's see what Emily is doing here. She's ignoring the global filtering. Very cool. So what she's done is it looks like she's copy and pasted the charts. I'm guessing that she's changed around the filters so that they show different things. Alrighty, okay, so putting filters at the top. We did have people debate about whether it should go on the left or right filters, but Emily's putting it at the top. Very interesting choice. Let's see what Stephanie is doing. She is adding titles still. Guys, now you have about a minute and 20 something seconds. All right, so she's pasting in an image, it looks like. All right, we'll go back to Stephanie. And it looks like she's moving around the titles, making sure they make sense. Here's a fun fact is when we were writing resolutions for the new year about dashboarding, Emily did mention that she wishes that people would use better titles for their dashboard. So it looks like Steph has been doing that, and Emily is too. She's creating titles that help give a lot of context to their dashboards. All right, guys, 30 more seconds. Got this icon. She's putting in icons over here. That is very interesting. 15 more seconds. All right, let's check in. We're seeing that they have, it's about complete. She's changing around everything. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Mouse is down. Hands up. Yep, that's it. Okay. The dash off is done. All right. Let's walk through what you've done in these dashboards, and people in the comments, if you have any question, let us know. They're happy to answer anything. I'm speaking for them, but I'm assuming they would be happy to answer any questions you guys have. Let's start with Emily. We are here. We saw you make this line chart. We saw you highlight this one bar. Can you show us exactly how you did that, this one line?
Yeah, so for my line chart, I wanted to call out the 2022 influenza season. And knowing that we have about 22 years worth of data in here, or 12 years worth of data in here, that I wanted to make sure that it was clear which year I was looking at. Mm-hmm. So to do that, I actually sorted my years backwards so that I knew that the first year in my data set would be 2022. So that when I went into my styling section and selected my color palette, I was able to make my first color the color that I want to stand out. And then the rest of them I've just pasted in the same gray tone towards all the way through so that every other year is listed in that light gray color.
Okay, that is such a great hack. Copy and pasting. We saw both contestants use that today, where they copy and pasted a color palette instead of going in and changing each one of those colors individually. That would have taken a really long time. We have a commenter saying kudos, and this is amazing to watch. You both rock and roll. All right, let's move on to Steph really quickly. We'll go back and forth. Stephanie, can you show us again how you created the gradient for this heat map? We caught you at the tail end of
Yeah,
the
so I just went into style and selected the palette, and I actually should have made this a little bit lighter, but just creating, and you can add multiple different colors if you want to do different things, but I just kind of wanted to show the most populated areas in this, so I didn't need too many colors.
And just a question about the minimum and the maximum. Are you going to put in a value in there so it needs to hit a certain minimum or the maximum in order to change color?
I did not for this one because I didn't really need that, but I think it could be useful in some cases.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very interesting. And I also see that you have data points on this bar chart. Can you quickly show us how you did that?
On which one?
The data values on this. Yes, the lower middle one.
Yeah. So in the measures, I just clicked the little show data labels, and here they are.
Okay, very quick, very simple, and it adds something. I like that the color of the labels actually changes depending on the bar, so you don't have to pick either white or black or just one color. That's really great. Emily, I mean, this is so cool. This activity gauge pinwheel looking thing. Can you show us how you created this?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I mean, I was really inspired here by this like idea that the flu doesn't actually go away. It just like ebbs and flows throughout the year. And so that really felt cyclical to me. I'm not one to typically use circular shaped charts, but I really felt that it would be impactful in this scenario. So I highlighted the last 5 years of data. And it just felt like it was the right way to show this information, to show it in a circular format. So I have each little quadrant here representing a season. And so I did that by really just filtering down my weeks. So I know which weeks are part of each different season as categorized by like the CDC and what they consider fall and winter season for our influenza. And so filtering down those weeks and then the year greater than 2017. So I get the last 5 years. And then I just quadranted it off, if that's even a word. So I have a 90-degree angle on my activity gauge, and then I just changed the start angle so that I could position it for each of the 4 quadrants. And that's about it.
Wow. That's innovative. That looks so cool. That is a cool activity gauge. And we have someone saying, actually for Steph, that they love Stephanie's circular heat map, and it's more expressive than a conventional regular heat map.
Thank you.
And guys, I do have one question. If you had more time to do more things on your dashboard, what would you have added? Stephanie, we'll start with you.
After like creating all these charts, I think it would be really interesting to go back and pull in more data for vaccination rates just to see how vaccinations impact the percentage of ILI per year. And if like in the second chart, it shows that ages 5 to 24, there's a huge spike, and maybe people in that age range don't really get vaccinated because it doesn't affect them as hard as other people. So I think that would be interesting to see and compare that type of thing.
Okay, so more data, mostly like vaccination data. And Emily, what would you do if you had more time and you could do some more things with this?
Yeah. So I was kind of telling a story for myself personally. I was interested in seeing like what is the influenza rate like in my region versus either the United States or other regions that I might be traveling to. And so you can see that in my like line bar section where you're able to filter one set of charts and it remains for the US on the other. So if I had more time, I would probably do a little bit more digging, try to maybe add in that age range data, or look at some different ways of comparing different regions around the United States, so that others could kind of go in and use this to, help with their travel plans as well.
Okay. That looks cool. You guys have talked about two very different things. One is adding actions, the other is adding more data. Maybe if you guys do that in the future, keep checking our Astrato Galaxy site, and Stephanie and Emily might post these dashboards on there, so you guys can get some ideas on what to do. But for now, it's time for you guys to kind of critique and look at each other's dashboards. We'll start with Emily's. So, Stephanie, do you have anything that you love about this dashboard that maybe you would change, or something that you want to learn how Emily did?
Well, I love her dashboard, and I think she chose better colors than I did because it kind of relates to like cold and winter and flu season, that kind of thing. So I like her color palette more than mine, but mine, it made me happy, so I chose it. I definitely like the gauge thing. That's really cool, and I know how to do it now because she explained it. But that's something that I would like to try out in the future. And I like the comparison, how you can choose to compare a specific region to the rest of the U.S. and kind of see how they stack up against each other.
Okay, that is very cool. So you did say you have these selected regions, and it looks like what you were doing is that you got rid of filtering or global filtering, Emily, on this. Can you show us what that means and what it does to the dashboard?
Yeah. So we have, within each object, we have the ability to add chart filters. So individual chart filters allow you to kind of narrow down the data that you are presenting in your chart. But what I've added was ignore global filtering. So this is a filter that's placed at that global level or sheet level or workbook level, that you're using to allow your users to kind of interact with your dashboard. So by ignoring that filtering, I've given my user the ability to filter down to a region that they're interested in. So maybe they live in Colorado and they want to apply that filter. So my top two charts here won't change at all, but the selected region will, and it'll allow you to see, well, Colorado is kind of peaking up a lot higher at the same time frame with the US overall. And so kind of compare side by side what those two areas look like.
Okay, so it kind of allows one chart to not be affected by any filtering.
That's right.
All right, that is very cool. Let's move on to Stephanie's dashboard. Emily, again, critiques, things that you love, things that you probably want to ask how she did. Anything on here?
Yeah, I really like the way that Stephanie laid out her dashboard. I love having like the two larger charts at the top because it draws your focus and attention to those. And it kind of indicates maybe some details are down below. So really giving us the very clear, like the bright color showing us that 2022 is kind of peaking up there on that first line chart. But I really like this grouped bar chart here and using a different color for each of the different age brackets. I think that's something that I don't do enough of. I'm not bold enough in my colors and color palettes. So I really like that Stephanie did this and is allowing us to really see very clearly the kind of different impacts across the different age brackets over the different years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Stephanie, what made you choose the circles for the heat map? And can you also show us what other kind of icons you could have chosen with the heat map?
Yes, I chose the circles because I think it really showed the difference between. So I'm trying to show when the flu season usually peaks. As you can see, it's usually kind of ramping up in December with peaking in January and February usually. But you can see in 2022, November is there's a lot more cases than there usually is in November. So I think the circles really emphasize that, and that's why I chose that. But yeah, there's lots of different different icons that you can use. You could use squares, and that works too. I like this
The
one.
smoothness
Yeah.
of the circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. And audience members, you guys have a chance to vote on which dashboard is your favorite. Stephanie has she did win the first ever dash off, but it's your time to choose whether she keeps her title or gets passed on to Emily. So let me show these charts one more time. So this is Stephanie's. She's got a more warm toned color palette, more colors, and Emily here, she's got a cooler toned color palette. She's got a cool activity gauge on there. Let us know in the comments which one you think should win. Again, I'll just show off these two once again. We do have one comment saying, I like both of the color palettes. Emily's conservative selection of colors conveys the appropriate mood of the viz, while your Stephanie's vibrant color scheme is really fun and good to look at and kind of draws attention. So very different, but they kind of tell a very similar story. They are using the same data set. So let us know in the comments which one you are voting for. Which one would you guys vote for?
I would probably vote for Emily. So.
No brainer.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll let the comments keep on rolling. If anyone has any questions, let us know in the comments down below, or you can go to Astrato Galaxy, so galaxy.astrato.io for any questions or to get some inspiration. And yeah, let us know what you think of this. Let us know what data set we should use next time. Someone's saying it's tough. It is tough. Someone is saying they would vote for both. Emily, we've got one vote for Emily. All right, so they are coming in. The votes are coming in. Keep them coming. And thank you everybody for watching. It's been a great time. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Was it a little bit
as challenging as I expected.
Yes, that's what Steph and Pierce said. But hope you guys had fun. Everyone in the comments, thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.